Good evening everyone, DRBMiller here, and I welcome you all. Thank you for coming to my gaming industry news broadcast. Thank you so much for being here, for being a part of our community, for visiting my channel on a regular basis. And we have quite a lot of exciting news today. Most of them are related to the conference that Microsoft held in Mexico City. So if you were listening to my broadcast on Saturday, which was our XO 18 special, you probably would have learned about many of those bits of information. And indeed, it was a wonderful conference. They had a terrific presentation on Saturday night, which was broadcast live through the Xbox, Inside Xbox. And I watched it and enjoyed it and loved it and soaked up all the information. Was very excited about several things, particularly those related to PUBG and Hellblade. Both of those games are going to be featuring on Game Pass from this week. And you know, it's been a tremendous conference for all of us that love Xbox and industry. And I believe that Game Pass, as run by Microsoft, is the next big thing, or the way I see it, it's presenting us with the future of the gaming industry overall. I think it's terrific that every one of us can simply access these games 24/7, wherever we are, and also that their proprietary games are released both for retail and on the Game Pass, literally on that release date. So for the guys that are living in smaller towns and villages countrywide and worldwide, and those people who cannot access retailers with ease, this is going to be tremendously beneficial, because unlike PlayStation, I have to say, Microsoft on their Xbox Game Pass is not just introducing some obscure games, but they are accompanied by some heavyweight blockbusters as well. So it's quite a variety for everyone, from the biggest titles such as Red Dead Redemption and Sea of Thieves and PUBG, to the titles which are completely obscure, coming out of independent development studios. So there is something there for everyone. And I will just run through the news which basically have come to our shores today, but all of them are mostly related to everything that's been said in Mexico City on Saturday. So the first big thing that really was very, very exciting for everyone in industry, it is a continuation of all we heard during the E3 conference earlier this year, and that is basically that Microsoft bought Obsidian Entertainment and In Exile Entertainment as well. So these are two studios which are acquired to help basically the expansion of Game Pass lineup, and they will be working on some proprietary games, I believe, for Microsoft. One of the bosses did indicate that those studios will be a part of this umbrella of studios, and at the same time they will retain their independence, so they'll be able to produce certain things which are not connected, I believe, to specifically Microsoft targeted products. But if you want to get to know more about that, you can go to Microsoft blog, and they have quite an extensive piece describing how everything will work. So just to give you the news in brief, they confirmed on Saturday that they officially acquired Obsidian Entertainment and In Exile, and the rumors have been circulating during the last few weeks that the Fallout New Vegas developer Obsidian was next in line to be sort of going under the Microsoft umbrella. So the news were not perhaps all that surprising. However, In Exile was not at all expected. Nobody heard anything about it until literally Saturday night, and we got to know about this through the Inside Xbox broadcast, where obviously one of the bosses announced it. As well as Fallout New Vegas, Obsidian developed RPG game Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2, plus the comical South Park The Stick of Truth. In Exile is best known for its work on Wasteland and Torment Tides of Numenera. I think some of you are familiar with this beautiful strategy game, and if I'm not mistaken, it is available on PlayStation now. So if you are a subscriber to that service, or indeed if you want to try the free trial period, you'll be able to play it with ease. Matt Booty, he is a corporate vice president of Microsoft Studios, mentioned that the 13 distinct and diverse game development teams that for Microsoft Studios are focused on implementing those new Microsoft technologies, and indeed they are focused on delivering content for new platforms and services like Xbox Game Pass, which is the biggest thing that the Microsoft has at the moment, and creating exclusive games that turn players into loyal Xbox fans. You know, the games like Gears of War, for instance. We are committed to expanding the Microsoft Studios franchises players already love, and they are prepared to invest in new exclusive content for every type of gamer. And indeed, if you're looking at the list of games that Game Pass does include at present, there is a game for everyone, from RPGs through adventures to survival/horror games and FPS shooters. So really, no one will feel stranded. You always have something to enjoy, if you are obviously one of the subscribers. And it has to be said that Microsoft does have quite an impressive number of studios now under the belt, and indeed Obsidian Entertainment and inXile are joining those development teams as well. The other big thing on Saturday was focused on Crackdown 3, and indeed we've heard that this wonderful new game does have a new release date, which is in February, and we watched the Wrecking Zone gameplay trailer as well, which looked, well, needless to say, awesome. And the actual release date is on February 15th of 2019, and what this means is that this game will not be competing with Metro and Anthem because of that date. Crackdown 3 has been quite a long time coming. It really suffered multiple delays during its development. The game was initially due out alongside the Xbox One X on November the 7th of 2017, before being pushed to spring of 2018, and now finally into early 2019. So we are talking about roughly 18 months delay. And Microsoft's Phil Spencer assured all of us that the game will not suffer any further delays. We do not know what caused these delays, but it may have been to do with the engine, or perhaps with the new trends in multiplayer. You know, hard to tell. But this is the definite date, so be prepared for its release in February. As for Wrecking Zone, Microsoft has revealed that it will take the form of a 5-on-5 deathmatch offering, so it'll be 5 against 5, all set inside of a specialized arena. So if you want to really find out more, you can access the Wrecking Zone gameplay trailer, which is on Xbox channel, YouTube obviously. And if you want to read more, just access Microsoft's own blog, which is on their Xbox page, and you'll be able to learn everything that's been said on Saturday. Furthermore, we had another very exciting gameplay trailer, and that was for Just Cause 4. And I have to say, I really admired the visuals. They seem both very funny and ultra sharp, as they were played on Xbox One X engine, and really we are very highly anticipating its release. And we could say it's all about facing the eye of the storm, and Rico, the main character, launches himself into the midst of a massive tornado, and then everything cracks on from that point. Developer Avalanche already confirmed that the weather conditions will be playing a huge factor in Just Cause 4, so watch out. And the revamped Apex game engine will be allowing for all sorts of extreme conditions, such as tornadoes and tropical lightning storms. Just Cause 4 is penciled in for a December the 4th release on PlayStation 4, so we are really talking about maybe 2 or 3 weeks from today. And also it will be released on PC and Xbox One. It will receive an expansion pass offering a bunch of extra missions and content. But you know, the best thing to do is just go to videogamer.com. There's a piece on Just Cause 4, and the trailer and all the other bits are there. So definitely have a look at that trailer. It looks awesome. During the conference, one of the guys from the development team was presenting us with that awesome action sequence where Rico comes to a bridge and it starts firing rockets into various sections of that bridge, and that even before the rockets would have hit, you know, the construction, he just walks away, and in the background they have this massive big explosion. The entire bridge just simply collapses, and it's just the pyrotechnics and the visuals are literally out of this world, so definitely worth catching. I'm not sure whether it's included in that trailer, but you can access inside Xbox on you know, the YouTube channel, and indeed you can indulge. So really very exciting as well. The other interesting piece was related to Devil May Cry 5. One of the guys from the team was there, well, 2 of them in fact. It was the director of the project and one of the other guys, one of his assistants, and they were talking about various modes to which you'll be able to customize weapons. So this was very, very exciting. And there is one particular mode called Pasta mode, or was it the Pasta weapon, if I understood correctly. And so I can sort of pick up my own weapon and bring it into the game. Obviously, it will have to be like on the game inventory. And it just seemed very, very interesting as a concept, and the way that kind of described the whole thing was innovative. So they revealed that Devil May Cry 5 will feature this training mode called The Void, and this mode will allow you to get to grips with your character's various combat abilities, and that will include the main character's multiple devil breakers. These include the Mega Buster Cannon, inspired by Capcom's own Mega Man, as well as Buster Breaker, which I just talked about, so definitely have a look. And Devil May Cry always needed that sort of training mode, so this is really a very welcome addition to us all. It will be released on PlayStation 4, PC and Xbox One on March the 8th of 2019, and I have to say that everybody does have very high expectations for this sequel, and what we've seen so far has been nothing short of the Tomb Raider. A new trailer was being screened, and we've heard more about the Forge DLC. So for all of you, the Tomb Raider fans, I can tell you that Square Enix has polished off a new trailer for Shadow of the Tomb Raider, and also it gave us some idea on the Forge, the newest DLC, what it's going to look like and what will be happening in there. For anyone who perhaps is not familiar, the Forge offers up a new challenge tomb, which is set within a deadly lava flooded location. Although unlike those found in the campaign, this one offers both solo and cooperative play. So you've got 2 different types of facilities in there. You can either do it by yourself or with your community members, and I always recommend you to go along with your community members. It's much better fun. You get together and you talk, you connect with everything that game related, and then you expand it to all the other horizons of our online gaming world. So it's always very, very good fun to do it together in co-op. And indeed, if you're streaming, then other people will be coming in to watch your co-op play perhaps more frequently than if you were just playing by yourself, depending on the game, of course. Aside from tackling a new tomb, these game players will also be able to enjoy the new score attack and time attack modes, as well as get their hands on the Brocken outfit, which is called Umbrage 380 weapon and Grenadier skill. So Shadow of the Tomb Raider, the Forge DLC, will be making a running jump onto PlayStation 4, PC and Xbox One tomorrow. So if you own the season pass, you'll get it for free, but otherwise it will cost you about $5 or $4.99 to be precise. And so we're very, very excited about that. The trailer looked very good, and I've not played the game, but by watching The Forge as presented, it made me really seriously consider buying it, which obviously is a very, very good sign. We heard also some news on Forza Horizon 4, and they're related to the Fortune Island expansion, which is going to be out next month. So the first expansion pack will be out on December the 13th, and this will be the largest expansion the series has seen to date. It features plenty of hazards in the shape of fierce storms and treacherous terrain, as well as the obligatory lineup of new vehicles and challenges. As you know, Forza Horizon 4 looks absolutely beautiful. It takes place in the United Kingdom in various areas, so if you are community members from overseas, and let's say you were never visiting our country, when you buy the game or once you start playing it, you'll be able to get to know our countryside and lots of beautiful corners which the majority of Britons had not seen in their lifetime. And it's the best possible introduction to what the nature looks like in certain areas, and you can drive through all of our home counties, and it's the best possible introduction to Britain that there can be in the gaming world. So I most highly recommend it to everyone. And indeed, you have exciting rides and terrific vehicles, and visually, if played on PlayStation 4 Pro or Xbox One X, it is just, so captivating. You really want to be in that vehicle out there at that moment. But you will feel that you are there at that moment when you are playing the game. And I think that is tremendous. So thumbs up to the developers. They made this game look beautiful and very polished. And so far it's had absolutely wonderful reviews from everyone. So the biggest ever DLC for this game will come out on December the 13th. And as you know, the game was released in October on PC and Xbox One and attracted more than 2 million players in just 1 week, which is formidable. And if you are still not familiar, then please do have a look at the trailer, which has been released through Inside Xbox. So you can go to Inside Xbox on their YouTube channel, and indeed you'll be able to see it, or simply head to videogamer.com, the website which I use for my daily news, together with IGN and GameSpot, and you'll be able to see the trailer for yourself. I already told you that PUBG has been confirmed as the next Xbox Game Pass inclusion, and indeed, together with Hellblade, they constitute two of the most exciting titles in the course of this period to join Game Pass, and I'm very, very excited to be able to play the game through Game Pass. It is going to be now accessible on all platforms, and indeed through the subscription services, and therefore it will be made accessible to those people who perhaps are not in position to buy the physical product or even download it digitally and have to be playing it just on the Android devices. As you know, the Android app was provided free of charge and indeed was very advanced in its graphics and controls. It's absolutely loved by the fans worldwide, but now you'll be able to access it with ease if you are one of the subscribers. And we've heard about Fallout 76 and its very large day one patch. We've heard, well, as you know, the game's coming out in 2 days, and you may have to be doing a bit of cleaning up on your hard drive, because the first patch, which will be released on its release date, will be of 5160 64 gigabytes, or to be precise 51.641 gigabytes. So it's a bit smaller than the latest update we had on Destiny 2, but still absolutely gigantic. So if you consider that the actual game will take up about 45 gigabytes of space, and then get extra 51 or roughly 52 gigs on top, so you will need roughly about 100 gigabytes from your hard drive to squeeze everything in. So beware. And we hear that this patch will be basically dealing with various issues that players encountered during the beta testing, and there were audio problems, and there were some light issues, and bits and pieces to do with the game. And as you know, we simply cannot wait for that November the 14th to roll. The game's gonna be released for PlayStation 4, PC and Xbox One. And the last bit of news, perhaps even the most exciting, if you watched Inside Xbox broadcast on Saturday from Mexico City, Final Fantasy XIII Trilogy is heading to Xbox One backwards compatibility lineup. And that is jaw-dropping. We all want to have all of those Final Fantasy titles available for backward compatibility so that we can both play them and stream them at any given moment in time. So Square Enix Final Fantasy XIII series, which is Final Fantasy XIII, Final Fantasy XIII-2, and Lightning Returns Final Fantasy XIII, all of those are joining Xbox One's backwards compatibility lineup. We heard about that on Saturday, and in addition to being playable on Microsoft's flagship console, which is Xbox One X, all three of the JRPG titles will feature also that full Xbox One X support, and they will look even more beautiful than ever before. Polished up for 4K, the picture and sound quality will be better than anything we ever witnessed. And I believe that the Final Fantasy XIII Trilogy will launch for Xbox One backward compatibility on November the 13th. So, if you're not familiar with the game, Final Fantasy XIII was originally launched on Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 back in 2010, which is 8 years ago. But there has been a lot of criticism directed at the developer, and generally the viewpoint was that the story was perhaps a bit linear and there should have been more input in there in terms of its narrative. But regardless, as we know, it's one of the most popular games of all times, and the fans bought it everywhere, so they managed to make quite a lot of good sales, and the developer was able to make a sequel, which was Final Fantasy XIII Part 2, 2 years later, and then we had the third bit, which is the Lightning Returns Final Fantasy XIII in February 2014. So altogether, this trilogy, when played, is very engaging. You are yet again immersed in that wonderful Final Fantasy world. The graphics and sound are extraordinary, and obviously when you are to be playing it on Xbox One X, that is going to be even more enhanced. So, all these news have come to us through the conference in Mexico City. I hope you all watched it. If not, you can watch its replay through Xbox channel on YouTube, and I advise you to do that because there's so many interesting trailers and bits of gameplay and introductions and interviews and all sorts for every serious online gamer. So please head to their channel on YouTube, which is the Xbox channel, and simply indulge. For myself, I've been experimenting today with PlayStation Now services. I have to say I was very disappointed to discover that most of the games I could not stream, and the game that I really experimented with is one of the PlayStation exclusives, The Last of Us, and I have to admit it did look and sound absolutely astonishing, and that's the part 1. As you know, we are anticipating the sequel to come out within the forthcoming period, and we've seen this wonderful trailer for the second part during their presentation at E3 conference. But I've not played The Last of Us before, and today I had been streaming it through PlayStation Now services, and the stream was of very high quality, and I have to say the game was very, very scary. I have a high quality headset and, you know, the top-notch kit, and you really felt a part of that absolutely astonishing, imploding environment where a virus breaks out and everyone goes berserk and families are threat. Just the way the game works from the beginning is highly immersive, and you really feel like you are there. I'm not going to be revealing any details for those of you who have not played the game, but it does start with a rather explosive beginning, and the prologue does have a surprising ending as well. So for all of you that are interested, head to PlayStation Now and subscribe, and for that monthly fee you'll be able to enjoy not just The Last of Us but all the other games. You know, I've talked about Xbox Game Pass now for quite some time, for several days, and indicating that it's, you know, the leader of the industry and they've got better games and all sorts. But both of those services are very compatible, and I think that for all of us gamers, being able to access games wherever we are, whenever we want, is definitely a new thing, and I absolutely love it. I watch Netflix literally right from the beginning, and you could see how they improved their streaming services and how they beefed up on the blockbusters and the top-notch titles, and Game Pass and PlayStation are doing exactly the same. So to summarize, I've been very, very pleased with my experience. Somewhat disappointed I couldn't stream those games, but you know, you can't have it all at once, can you? So on that note, I shall bring this broadcast to our conclusion. I will thank you all for coming and listening to my news. Hope you would find them of interest, and indeed I hope you'll join me for my next broadcast. I have to decide now whether I'm to be streaming Destiny 2 or something off PlayStation Now. I'll have to see, but it's certainly going to be exciting and interesting. With Destiny 2, I've completed the Red War section. I'll move to the DLC content, and we are going to be proceeding then with one of those first missions. So a lot to look forward to, and hope you can join us and enjoy some of those firefights and exciting enemy encounters. Until then, I wish you all a very good night.